For centuries, prisons have been designed to keep the world's most dangerous, resourceful, and clever individuals securely confined. Yet throughout history, some prisoners have defied all odds to make their escape, driven by desperation, bravery, or sheer determination. Each of these prison breaks reveals a unique tale of resilience, creativity, and courage, with individuals and groups plotting for months, even years, to overcome insurmountable odds. From infamous criminals to political dissidents, these daring escapes are testament to the human will to survive and be free. Today, we're exploring the top 10 most audacious prison escapes of all time, spanning continents, centuries, and remarkably different circumstances. Escape number 10, the Alcatraz escape, 1962. The escape from Alcatraz remains one of the most iconic prison breaks in American history. Situated on an isolated island in San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary was long thought to be escape-proof. But on the night of June 11, 1962, three prisoners, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, vanished from their cells, never to be seen again. The trio's escape plan was nothing short of genius. Using spoons, they painstakingly chipped away at the concrete around the ventilation grills in their cells over months, enlarging them enough to squeeze through. They created decoys, dummy heads crafted from soap, toilet paper, and real human hair, to fool the guards during bed checks. Crawling through their makeshift tunnels, they reached the prison roof, descended to the water's edge, and launched a raft fashioned from raincoats. Although the men were presumed drowned, their bodies were never found, sparking theories that they may have survived, disappearing into history as legends of the Rock. Escape number 9, the Maze Prison Escape, 1983. The Maze Prison in Northern Ireland was renowned as one of Europe's most secure prisons, designed to hold dangerous members of the Irish Republican Army, IRA. Yet on September 25, 1983, in what became the largest prison break in British history, 38 IRA prisoners escaped. Using smuggled weapons, the inmates executed a meticulously planned operation. They overpowered guards, took hostages, and hijacked a food delivery truck. The prisoners even managed to hold a hostage dress rehearsal weeks before the escape to practice their roles. With military precision, they subdued prison staff and navigated the maze of locked gates and checkpoints, eventually fleeing in the commandeered truck. Despite the ensuing massive manhunt, many of the escapees remained free, and the breakout became a potent symbol of defiance in the conflict between the IRA and British authorities. Escape number 8, the Texas 7, 2000. In December 2000, 7 inmates orchestrated one of the most infamous modern-day escapes in the U.S. at the John B. Connally Unit in Texas. Known as the Texas 7, this group included violent criminals who had each served significant time behind bars. Led by George Rivas, they spent months planning their escape, exploiting weaknesses in the prison's security systems. On the day of the escape, they overpowered multiple guards and took hostages. The group then disguised themselves in stolen clothing and stole a vehicle, escaping undetected. They embarked on a month-long crime spree across Texas, funding their time on the run by robbing stores and stealing weapons. The gang was eventually tracked down after the murder of a police officer, leading to a televised manhunt and the dramatic capture of the remaining members in Colorado. The Texas 7's actions not only drew national media attention but also led to major reforms in Texas prison security protocols. Escape number 7, Dieter Dengler's escape from a Laotian prison, 1966. Dieter Dengler's escape is one of sheer survival against incredible odds. In 1966, Dengler, a U.S. Navy pilot, was shot down over Laos during the Vietnam War and captured by enemy forces. Held in brutal conditions, he was placed in a primitive prison camp deep in the Laotian jungle, guarded by Pathet Lao soldiers. With 6 other prisoners, Dengler planned a bold escape. Armed with nothing but a mashie, the group overpowered the guards and fled into the dense, unforgiving jungle. Their escape turned into a harrowing survival ordeal as they faced starvation, illness, and exhaustion. One by one, Dengler's fellow escapees either died or were captured. Dengler managed to survive in the jungle for weeks before being rescued by an American search and rescue team, returning home as a war hero. His survival story remains legendary, exemplifying his incredible mental and physical endurance. Escape number 6, the Libby Prison Escape, 1864. During the American Civil War, Libby Prison in Richmond, Virginia, held captured Union soldiers under appalling conditions. In February 1864, 109 Union prisoners pulled off one of the most impressive mass escapes of the Civil War era. Their plan involved digging a tunnel from the basement of the prison through to an adjacent tobacco warehouse. The tunnel was painstakingly dug with crude tools, and the entire operation took several weeks. On the night of the escape, prisoners crawled through the narrow passageway one by one, emerging to freedom. Of the 109 escapees, 59 managed to reach Union lines in safety, defying Confederate forces. The Libby prison escape became a legendary feat of ingenuity and perseverance, inspiring Union soldiers and citizens alike during the Civil War. Escape number 5, Stalag Luft II. The Great Escape, 1944. During World War II, Stalag Luft II in Germany housed Allied POWs, primarily airmen. In March 1944, in one of the most famous prison breaks in history, a group of POWs tumbled their way out of the camp. The escape, famously depicted in the movie The Great Escape, was a massive undertaking involving 3 tunnels, nicknamed Tom, Dick, and Harry. Under the direction of squadron leader Roger Bushell, the men worked for months digging tunnels that extended over 300 feet, reinforced with scavenged materials. They even constructed an air ventilation system and made clothes and forged documents for the escapees. Although only 3 men ultimately reached freedom, the breakout sent shockwaves through Nazi Germany, forcing authorities to reassess security in POW camps. Tragically, many of the recaptured escapees were executed, giving this escape a somber legacy. Escape number 4, Pascal Paet's helicopter escapes, 2001, 2003, and 2007. French criminal Pascal Paet became notorious for his helicopter-assisted prison breaks. In 2001, Paet orchestrated his first helicopter escape from a high-security prison while serving time for murder. This was only the beginning, as he would later use the same tactic multiple times, embarrassing French authorities and highlighting vulnerabilities in their security measures. In 2003, Paet was captured but arranged another helicopter escape, where he even helped 3 other inmates break free. In 2007, yet another hijacked helicopter swooped in to free Paet, only to be recaptured again after a Europe-wide manhunt. Paet's escapes revealed major flaws in the prison system and spurred changes in how high-risk prisoners are held in France. Escape number 3, the escape from Devil's Island, 1934. One of the most notorious prison colonies in history, Devil's Island was reserved for France's most dangerous prisoners. Henry Charrier, an inmate there known as Papillon, famously escaped this brutal penal colony in 1934. Wrongly convicted, Charrier endured years of abuse before he and a fellow prisoner constructed a raft made from coconuts and set sail across the dangerous waters surrounding the island. Despite the perilous journey, Charrier eventually reached safety. His incredible story of survival and escape became a worldwide sensation with the publication of his autobiography, Papillon, which was later adapted into a film. The escape highlighted both the human spirit's capacity for survival and the horrific conditions of French penal colonies. Escape number 2, the escape from Pretoria, 1979. South African anti-apartheid activists Tim Jenkin and Stephen Lee made headlines in 1979 when they escaped from Pretoria Central Prison. The 2 men were held for political activities against apartheid, and they quickly devised a plan to break out. Their escape method involved creating wooden keys for several doors inside the prison, carefully crafting them to fit each lock. Over a period of months, Jenkin carved these keys, hiding his work from guards. The escape required meticulous timing and careful coordination, as they had to pass through 8 locked doors. After finally making their way out, the men fled the country, successfully escaping the oppressive apartheid regime. Their story was later depicted in the film Escape from Pretoria, a testament to their courage and resourcefulness. Escape number 1, the escape from Sobibor, 1943. The most harrowing escape on our list took place in 1943 at the Sobibor extermination camp. Led by Soviet POW Alexander Pekarsky, a group of Jewish prisoners organized an uprising driven by desperation and a desire for revenge. Their plan involved killing Nazi guards and cutting through the camp's barbed wire fencing. On October 14, 1943, approximately 300 prisoners attempted to escape, with around 50 ultimately surviving the war. The Sobibor uprising was both an act of defiance and a desperate bid for freedom in the face of certain death. The bravery of these prisoners, risking everything to escape, serves as a stark reminder of the human spirit's resilience even in the darkest of times. Each of these escapes showcases human ingenuity, bravery, and determination, with people facing impossible odds and risking everything to seize their freedom. These prison breaks stand out not just for the planning, patience, and resourcefulness they required, but for the mark they left on history and society. These remarkable individuals, some villains, others heroes, each share a legacy of defiance against confinement and a testament to the lengths some will go for freedom. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe this channel for future updates.